I'm really excited that this Arctic Air product has reusable ice packs. This is something I've been looking forward to in the Arctic Air line, and they finally have them. Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you saw, we are looking at the Arctic Air Ice Jet. You know what? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. This is almost like a space heater, but for cooling. So let's open this up to see what we get. All right, so we are unboxed, and I'll be honest, I was a bit unimpressed when I opened it. This feels actually very, very cheap. The plastic is very thin. I thought, oh man, I sure hope this works. Unboxed, of course, you see that we have our directions. There is a 6-foot USB-C cable that is to power this device. These things always crack me up. Do not return to the store. Let me tell you, if this doesn't work, I'm absolutely returning it to the store. We also have these things called boost packets, and I guess we have to make up our own ice packs. It told us on the box that it came with 3. Let's turn this ice jet to its side and open it up. To open it up, we just pop up on this little tray here. And there are our 1, 2, 3 ice packs. I did read through the directions. The cool thing is, if you want the maximum cooling, you use all 3, but you can also lower the cooling by removing 2 or removing 1. We took out one of our ice packs. We're just going to open it up here at the top. We're going to cut open our Arctic Ice Jet Boost packet. We've opened up our boost packet. We're going to pour this inside of our ice pack. Of course, the boost packet says do not ingest. I don't know who would want to eat that, but good job, Arctic Air. Now we're going to fill right up to the cap level with, of course I have water. It takes right around 4 ounces. I filled mine just below just to give it some space for freezing. So let's put our cap back on. Now we're supposed to just rotate it back and forth, mixing up the mixture. Don't shake it vigorously, but just mix it around by turning it here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to fill up the other 2 and put it in the freezer. I will say this does actually feel like it's gotten a little colder than it did when I started. That's pretty cool. I will say you do have to take your time with pouring this in. It's not very easy, and I've spilled an awful lot of water. Kind of wish it came with the funnel. Our ice packs are all filled. The directions tell us that it should only take about an hour for them to freeze. That's pretty interesting, but it says put them in for at least an hour or until frozen. Let's go drop them in our freezer. When our freezer packs are in the freezer, let's test this thing out. We're going to use the included USB-C. Now, this does not have batteries, so you have to have it plugged in order for it to work. So there we go. It's all plugged in. If you tip the unit down here to the bottom, you can actually see there's a drain plug. And I guess that's if the condensation from the ice packs get too much, you can actually drain it out the bottom just like that. You can see there's 3 different buttons. There's one here on the left side, there's one down here on the middle, and then of course there's one right here on the right side. This is more of a lever, and it adjusts your vents. So you can see those things moving. In the front here is our power button. Let's push it on. Ooh, look at that light. I do really appreciate the light. I think it's really cool, but I want to talk about this fan speed. This actually is giving me a whole lot of power. Let me get my tester and see how this looks. We have our anemometer right here. I should say when you first push the button, it defaults to high speed, so this is as fast as it's gonna go. Let's put this right up against that fan and see what kind of speed we have. Wow, I'm actually pretty impressed. 7.9 miles per hour is the wind speed. I like that. Let's go down to medium and see what happens. Push the button one time. All right, so just a slight drop from 7.9 to 7.6. Let's push that button one more time. All right, so right around 6.8, in between there and 7. That's actually pretty decent, and you get a lot of good wind off of the ice jet. One more push of the button, of course, we turn it off. Let's talk about the light now. On the box, we see that we have 7 different color choices, but there is an 8th option. So if you remember this button I told you about right here on the side, that actually controls the lights. It's default to this blue, but let's go through the colors. Ready? As you can see, you have a really good allotment of colors. And when we get here to the end, it looks like we started over, but we didn't. Now it just oscillates through. And of course, if I did not like the light on at all, I could push the button one more time and turn it off. I did a quick count around, and it looks as though you have 25 LED lights. Wow, that makes it extra bright. I'll show you something cool. You can actually adjust the brightness of this mood light, as they call it. You know that same button we use to change the colors? We actually just push and hold that, and you can actually see the light start to get dimmer. Now on camera, you're gonna see that the LEDs flicker. It does not flicker like that in person. Once you get to the brightness level that you like the most, you just click the button again and it will remain that way. Like I said though, that flickering you see just because of the camera. As I've been messing with this ice jet, I'm actually more impressed than I was when I first unboxed it. Yes, it still does feel like it's cheap plastic, but I'm impressed with the wind speed coming out. I'm really excited for those ice packs to freeze so we can really test this out. So, tell me, what are your thoughts of the Arctic Air Ice Jet, specifically the lights? Which one is your favorite? I'll tell you mine, it's the green one. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Now it's time to test out the cooling power of our Arctic Air Ice Jet. Typically what I do is I'll utilize one of these meat probe thermometers, and although I think that's actually pretty good, I'm going to actually try a thermometer that's meant for indoor and outdoor. You can see our digital readout between our thermometer. It's really only 1 degree off. Okay, this big 71 is actually this fob over here, and the smaller 70 degrees Fahrenheit is this unit right here. With our ice packs ready to go, let's do a quick temperature check. Look at that, 22 degrees Fahrenheit. These are ice cold. The room that I'm in is climate controlled to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. We are not going to adjust that. Let's put in our ice pack and check out this ice jet. Pop open our lid. We're actually going to put all 3 in because we want to do a test of how cold this can be with all 3 of our ice packs. We have our external thermometer sitting right on top of a little box here in front of our fan. I can tell you right now, just me sitting in front of it, it's already a whole lot cooler. But let's see if this big number up here will drop. We are at our 5-minute mark, and as you can see, it's dropped down about 1.5 degrees in Fahrenheit. So that is showing that it's coming out colder air than what's in the room to right here just through those ice packs. We've hit 10 minutes into this test, and as you can see, we've dropped down over 2 degrees Fahrenheit for the temperature right in front of our ice jet. And I don't know if you remember, right when we started this test, the lower one here, which is reading this itself, was reading at 70.0, and that's actually gone up. So the room temperature has gone up a little, but we're still feeling that cool air in the front. This is a little disheartening. I'm sure you noticed that pop up just like I did, but our temperature was going down, but now it's gone up a little. I hope we get more than 10 minutes of cooling. I do want you to see, however, I am running this off of a power bank, and as you can see, it uses between 7 and 8 watts of power. At the 14-minute mark, we can see that this is now showing 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is still 1.2 degrees Fahrenheit lower than we started, but it's gone up from where we were. Look, it's even increasing there. I will say, however, the room temperature has also increased from 70 degrees Fahrenheit to 71.6. To be fair, we have to take in the calculation of the room temperature changing as well. For those of you that are interested with the light off, we are operating right around 6 watts of power consumption. As I've been sitting here, I have noticed that it doesn't feel like as much wind is coming out as before when we tested it without the ice packs. If you remember, on high speed, the wind speed was right around 7.9 miles per hour. So let's see what the anemometer is telling us now. Well, it's still actually pretty good. Not as good as it was without the ice packs, but 7 or so miles per hour is our wind speed with the ice packs. So you do have some reduction with the ice packs in there. Another observation I've had is you only feel the air right in front of you, almost like a tunnel. Anything on the left or right, there's absolutely no airflow. You have to be directly in front of the ice jet to feel the cooling power. I will use my anemometer to show you what I'm talking about. I'm directly to the right of the fan and nothing's happening, but let's go over here. And as you can see, our fan at the top starts spinning. It's reading wind speed because I'm right in front of it. But as I move it across, I'm no longer in front of it over here. And of course, it's going to slow down to reading, well, nothing. We've now passed the 25-minute mark, and you can see that our temperature right in front of the fan has gone up. But now let's talk about the numbers. When we first started, this one down here was at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It's gone up 3.2 degrees. When this one first started, it was at 71.2. So you can see I actually dropped just when I was filming this. So it's not gone up as much as the room, so we're still cooler in front of the ice jet. Although, I would like this number to stay down in the 60s. I want to do a quick check of our ice packs. Remember we started out frozen. I'm going to do a couple different spots on there. I don't know if they're actually frozen anymore. I've seen some as low as 69 degrees Fahrenheit, but others as high as 73 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning those ice packs are now at room temperature. So therefore, their cooling power is no longer effective. We have reached the 1 hour mark, and I think it's safe to say that this test, as far as these 3 ice packs, is over. You can see that we have raised to about 73.9 degrees Fahrenheit. I have heard the heater kick on, and unfortunately the thermostat for the furnace is not in this room, so it doesn't control it that way. But the room temperature itself is also raised 5 degrees. Now these ice packs have now gotten to be room temperature, and the only cooling effect we have is from the fan. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go refreeze these, and I do wanna test to see if just maybe one ice pack does as good as having all three in or not. Fast forward one day, and we have our ice packs ready. We are gonna put just one in. I'm gonna put it closest to the fan. Let's put it closest to the front. What we wanna do is we wanna see, does this provide the same cooling or less cooling as in using all three? Let's start it up. I'm not going to actually do the footage like I did in the first test. I'm just going to report back to you what my findings were in about an hour. As you can see, we started out at 70.7 degrees Fahrenheit at this fob right here. And of course, the room temperature is right around 71.8 degrees. I'm not expecting the room temperature to change a whole lot because when I tested it earlier, it was in the evening and the furnace kicked on because it was really cold outside. Now the temperature actually is pretty nice. I don't expect the heater to even turn on. Well, isn't this interesting? It's been 10 minutes and we dropped a little over a degree Fahrenheit. We're only using one of the freezer packs. I will say I moved it from the front back to the back because I wasn't getting any difference in the front. But in the back, right next to the fan, it is pushing out some cold air. It looks like, at least in my opinion, that if you use one freezer pack, you're gonna get similar results that if you used all three. So you know what I would do? I would leave two in the freezer, keep one here. Once this one warms up, swap it out. And you can have a cooling period that's a whole lot longer. In this video, we are looking at the Arctic Air Ice Jet. So what do we think of it? First things first, let's talk about that price point. $30, in my opinion, was still a little high for the actual product that you're getting. I'm really excited this one came with ice packs. I've always wondered why previous versions of the Arctic Air products didn't come with ice packs because just freezing those filters only gave you so much of that cooling, but having ice packs is an awesome upgrade. As you saw in the video, we did a comparison between using 3 of the freezer packs as compared to just using one, and we had very similar results. So if you end up getting this, my recommendation would be to leave 2 of them in the freezer and just use one of them. Therefore, you can continue your cooling experience by swapping out the warm ice pack for a new one. I kind of wish that this thing was battery powered, therefore you could use it on your desk or wherever without a power source, but just so you know, you have to have it plugged in order to use it. That was my full review of the Arctic Air Ice Jet. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. Check this out. Here is my Vornado. Let's turn this thing on. It has a lot of wind speed. You know what, this is on high. I do want to see real quick, what does the anemometer say? Look at those numbers just climb up. We might actually hit 14, there we go, 14 plus miles per hour. That's awesome. The Vornado does use a whole lot more power. I think it's right around 60 watts on high. It also costs $50, but in my opinion, if you're gonna be getting a fan for your desktop, I would recommend getting something like this. Yes, it is a little bit more money, but you get a whole lot more for that money. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of the Arctic Air Ice Jet. You know what? I've reviewed quite a few of the Arctic Air products. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link a playlist right up here, and I would love it if you would check this out. But if you've already seen that, I've actually built my very own cooling device out of a cooler and using my Vornado fan. I'm gonna link that review right over here, and I would love it if you would click on one of these links. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm gonna join you right here or right there. So go ahead, click one. They're safe, I promise.